This morning I got in an elevator in my building. There's a number of floors, and I'm completely at peace. You guys know I'm a meditation teacher, so I'm utterly quiet inside and outside, and always, no matter what. And you deal with stuff, you pump up, but then you let down, you're instantly at ease. I mean instantly. And it's not physiological. You can still have your heart pumping, but you are quiet. You're not your body. You're not your problems. We're not the solution to our problems. We're made of something like Donna knows well. You're made of spirit, spiritual presence. So no matter what seems to be going on, I can't move my body. When you're feeling them out, I've felt this all my life, so much presence I can't move. So I've spent 2 months alone on a couch one time, and it doesn't, it's beautiful. There's nothing wrong with that if you understand who and what you are, and you're not relating it to this world. You're not trying to get over on anyone because you love everyone. Because you are love. Not that they're worth anything, because they're lost in hell. Thinking you're your body, that's the problem. Thinking you're your problems or the solution to your problems, that's the problem. In meditation and quietude, I'm talking absolute quietude, you'll know this, you'll live this. And you'll inspire those few around you or those millions around you that would like to walk away from the whole game. There's nothing to win or lose out there. Just the quiet. Neither the transitions nor the endings, just the quiet. There's no one to fight, there's nothing to win. You cannot lose, you cannot die. And as soon as you're quiet, you'll see this. It's different than I mentioned a couple times, a near life or near death experience or whatever. It's all that, yes, you can feel all these things, but none of it has to do with the quiet. Because once you're there, there's no life or death, no problems or solutions. There's just this, use the word quiet, but it's a beatific, a divine vision. It's always and ever. And that's the baseline of our consciousness. And yes, we do have to know there's a God. Like when you fight real evil, you're going to have to know that. So it isn't there are books about being quiet, and yes, that's wonderful, but without the infusion of divine providence, that good will out, that there is something higher. In an exorcism, you use the blood of Jesus or whatever. You know, there has to be something that you know has power over this. Once you know that, you don't need the blood of Jesus. You are the quiet. The quiet just of time before anything was. You're just. It's been called Illumination Nirvana, the beatific vision. It's your consciousness when we step away. So I step into the elevator, and this young man has 16 different things going on in his mind, and it's like getting beat with a ball peen hammer. It's ridiculous, and so that reminded me of all the different skills we have on the way to the quiet, or when you're there to teach other people, because that's why we're here, is to help those around us that are spiritual. And the rest you avoid, you turn, you twist, you get away from, give them a helping hand and walk away, and sometimes they're help, mostly not, but that's not the point. So you deal with our issues, they're different. I'll explain a few different processes before we go deep into what this experience really is for you, and how far removed it is from the everyday experience of life. So I know I'm quiet. He steps on the elevator, and I'm got all these things going on. It's like getting beat up. No bad intention, just lost. He thinks he's his device, gone to work, get there on time. There's a man in the elevator. I am not a physical body. So thinking me as such is like, boom, it's like, so you'll have to learn that, because you'll be very sensitive. and learn that that's what they are. So you turn down your kick-ass, you don't fight back, you just, oh, that's what it is. So you can be very, very quiet in the midst of hell. Talked about my friends from Tibet years and years ago that the worst conditions and yet live this peace that I'm trying to describe today. It's an utter quiet. It's you. Life here is for others. You allow yourself to be here. You learn all the bad things about it and how rough it is. It's a rough town. And then remind yourself to be quiet again, because all of us, all who are spiritual, have been aware of this all of our life. We're not sure how to get back on the horse, but we know that that's who we really are. That getting on the horse is right, which is that quiet, that sweetness we feel in the air. And so we find a way to get quiet, and I'm simply saying there are processes, and they're very clean, all the processes that work. We'll say you get home after work or on the way to work and write down 10 things that happened that day. I say I'm going to work, I brushed my teeth, I did something with the car, I put papers here and there, I put a check in my pocket for my buddy, I did. Okay, and each thing you do, you don't get with all the emotion about it, physical world emotion. I did this, did that, and you bring it out of your consciousness by putting it on paper. And as soon as you do that, you don't think about it again, you don't dwell on it. Do that and you get home. You've had horrible experiences in your life. Write down, my stepsister beat me, my uncle took all my money, whatever, and you do that without all the emotion, just write it down like that, drop it, put it aside. Look at it again 3 hours later or a day later and write some more things. And as soon as you do it, break contact with it. Acknowledge, okay, I did that, boom. You acknowledge it with your mind and you can put it away from you. Try this a little and you'll see it really works. And it doesn't matter how deep or how horrible the experiences are, all of these processes really work. Try them. And all they show is that we're not our problems. You can put this entire incarnation, you can put it aside. I was born in South Philly, I went through hell, I've experienced everything anyone could ever know. Born with this illumination experience, my friend John showed me what it was when I was 20 years old. And I've lived with this always since then, and I don't have any problems or any solutions. The world still comes at me every day. I'm simply saying I could write down, that is my case, write it down. And it's gone. I didn't mean to rattle on, I'm simply saying write down those 10 things. And then you're in the quiet again. When I say a quiet, it's misty, it's like a morning fog. It's wonderful to be you. To remember who you are and why you are. You came here of your own volition to heal the world. It's wonderful. This time around, you will get to fulfill a promise you made to your mother, to your sister, or to someone in another incarnation, or to God. That in your psyche, it's not like you talk, it's like so pure. There's something in the universe amiss, and you acknowledge God for a moment, and God acknowledges you, and you're like a single ray of light, and you're born here. So first we thank our mother, our father, for helping us get our feet straight, get our sea legs, and then at some point we remember, like when I was at my buddy John, I said, what's meditation? He said, close your eyes, follow your breathing down. As soon as I did that, I had a concept, I had a structure for what I'd felt all my life, that I didn't think I was different, I was just a big golden heart, everyone told me, but mostly you get trash because you do have a big old golden heart. So as soon as I got that, in that moment I knew everything about God, and that I'm saying for you. Drop the idea that you're a physical person in the world and put your issues aside somehow. I mentioned a couple processes. I'm sorry I haven't gone deep into them, but they simply work, and don't look for any more action around them. That's it. They are all that simple. We've all been trashed and ravaged, haven't we? I was attacked last night in a crazy way. This is funny. But it was the right, that somehow the teachers let it happen, and it was so I could pull someone out of somewhere to bring them here, so that they could bring their daughter here, and that'll be magic. So it was one of those rare times where the heavens let something come at me because it aimed me in the right direction. But so the right thing will happen to you always. You'll never be left alone. You can't be alone. You know why? You are that the wise still call God. It's you. You're a ray of light from heaven. You may appear to be here to others. And if you let go of that in yourself, then you can apply your gifts to your mom, to your friend, to the one at school that's being bullied. You'll know what to do. It's interesting. It's always a little different. And when you're alone with someone who is spiritual, then that which we call God, which is the real you, but being in the world, you let yourself go, you let that identity go to be this focal point of God in this hell. But when you're alone with someone, then that which is God will express itself, which is you, to others. And they'll know what's happening, and you just have a very gentle, open heart, and you can heal anyone, everything. There's nothing you cannot do. It's wonderful. And there's very few people you can explain it to. So in your alone times, your quiet times, in the stillness, remember what you are, what God is. See, we're still going to look at God with humility on into eternity. Because every time we look, we become more full, more effulgent. It's an infinite, I'm saying, because it's my experience all my life, it's an unimaginable purity and wonder and beauty. And I'm saying this for us to remember. Because hand in hand, arm to arm, we can let go of the delusion on behalf of others. This is spiritual empowerment session for us to remind us of who and what we are. And then we're free. You can fly through the skies, through the living ethers. You are God's living ethers. You are the divine light. You are the Pure Land that they talked about in Buddhism. It's simply this place. People look at it has some psychological meaning in the Pure Land or enlightened. There's all these. You don't have to do anything. It just is. Just remember who you are. It's really that simple. And if you take it that simple and put your issues aside, you talk to God or the Buddha or whoever, God will talk to you. And when he does, it's as though you're the only person in the world. It's an infinite preciousness. It stills the senses. It changes everything forever. And then you'll pass it on. That's why we're here. And we're not here once we acknowledge what's been said thus far. There is no here. There is no physical body. There's just this pure light, this wisdom, this kindness from above. But it's here and it's now and it's you, and this world will yield. And that's how we're going to overcome the insanity, the impropriety, the madness of that which appears around us. Look right through it. Don't react to it at all. Practice that technique of not reacting to things. Put your issues here and remind yourself that you are the pure light. You're not this body or the problems or the solution to your problems. You are the light from heaven. You are the heavens. And so every time we put the issues aside, we'll kind of feel like in a free floating state. And yet it's very grounded, isn't it? It's ecstatic, but it's grounded. And you'll walk through this madness. And you'll pull your friends and loved ones out from the fires of disbelief and faithlessness. Because your faith is stronger than all the madness of the world. It's a being called Satan. And if you know that, you put your issues aside, and they've been thrown at you by this being, which is a nothingness. To call it a being as though it has some humanity is unnecessary. Just to understand that there is a force and it's nothing, and if you don't give it anything, like my buddy Gray here is a 10th degree martial artist, and you can play with him, you're swinging punches at him all day, and if it's not for real, it's just, no matter what you do, he's not going to flinch, he's not going to breathe hard, his eyes aren't going to blink, he's just trained. So train yourself in this, the art of meditation. And all will be well. Heal your mom, your dad, your family. Realize that all of us are going through the same madness. We're not always sure who the enemies are or aren't. And you don't know who's going to break free, so keep an open heart. Watch your valuables. And retain this inner fire of the divine light that is God's torch from heaven that you brought here. No one can hurt you. No thought, no feeling, no presence, no being has power over you. Fight your fights by not giving it anything. Do what you have to do day to day, and you'll keep growing more effulgent, more full of this power and presence, and you won't give it up lightly. You can't be harmed by nighttime or day. Fix what can be fixed. And the more quiet we are, the more we will fix those we love. That's our purpose. That's our reason. That's the why in everything. The stillness, the quiet. Remove the issues from it. No, we're not the issues and the things that have hit it called conditioning. We're not that. We're this. You are the holy light of God. So just withstand the temptations of the day and the evening hours, and you'll get happier and happier. And your love life will be deeper and deeper. Who you love, you'll love more deeply, more purely, more kindly. You won't have lust or need or want or desire. You'll have a simplicity within you, a kindness, a high regard for all the good people in your life. And the people trying to keep you down, and it can be for 1,000 different reasons. Just look at them quietly. Give nothing up. You are the purity of eternity, appearing in this hell for a very short time. A lifetime is like a bubble in a stream, like a flash of lightning in the sky. And when you're very quiet, you'll see all the lives of all people, as I do now. It's not just, it had to happen. It's not God's fault. We don't even It's an infinitesimal, like a particle of sand somewhere in the unimaginable. I'm saying this is my experience, eternity of godness, and so this world just, it happened. But never blame God or think, it's never get tempted with that thought like that. Why God? It's like, there's no why, it's, don't react to it, it's gone. Our life isn't a class in theology, it's a wonder and a joy, always springing from the soul. So if we're quiet and know that, then we'll see God. And remind yourself that you are the light, the living light. You're the light itself, the light living. There's nothing wrong with you. There's everything right with you. So it's just this presence. So we put our issues aside of bad times in the physical world, the material world, and you'll feel lighter than there. When you feel like your body's so heavy, I can hardly move, you're not tired. You're not your body. Remind yourself you're doing that, so I can like now lift myself, move around, and do whatever I have to do, because I know I'm not tired. I'm waiting for the next mission, assignment. And I can float through that very lightly. I'm saying that for all of us. I'm saying, well, I feel, oh, I can't get up. That's not, it's not, I can't identify with the spiritual side of that equation, and you will heal yourself, and you'll heal the others. And one day you won't wake up in time. There'll be time no longer. And the mystery of God will be finished. And the pure light that gives light, it is you. Can you imagine that? Talk about the third eye. So just get quiet, calm, relaxed. And just have the thought that you're not your body or your problems or the solution to your problems. And they'll go up in a little giggle. Oh, that's what that was. And that'll be your last thought. And then you'll be illumined. You'll know you're God's ray of light in eternity. And you'll end the darkness, the madness, the silliness, the corrupt nature of humanity. Don't say with we're going to get on them. It's like, it's the healing light. And because you know there's divinity, talked about the blood of Jesus, whatever you have to do, because at a certain point you're going to face down this thing. And if you're very, very quiet and let go of your issues, then it'll be the happiest day of your life. I think I talked a couple of weeks ago in these tapes about the first time, like, well, Satan completely manifest. I was this pure evil person and so forth. And it was very most impressive being. Movie stars or rock, they're nothing. This is like really impressive. And then I think this is really happening, and it's Satan. And I knew at that point, just humbly, that he'd messed with the wrong Marine. And then it took years to figure out every possible detail of it to help others, not yourself. But because that's why we're here, is to help others, to care, to love. Compassion, 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 compassion. And that'll give you the strength to walk through fire. And yet there are no fires. There is no hell. There's certainly not a Satan. There's not a body, or time, or place, or circumstance. The pure light. Let it move forth from your heart, from your eyes. Please. And there'll be no more nights. No more pain or suffering. This isn't being nice or sweet, or it's not like I'd hope it's that way. It's very powerful. I've certainly felt it with me under the most extreme circumstances you can imagine. with real violence and so on. And when you know this is what you are and what's with you, you somehow step through any degree of madness. But you do it quietly at home, in the simplicity of your living room. Generate this light to break it up to 100 directions of all the people you love. And that's the beginning of this. And there'll be details, and they'll come forth from within you, and you'll do this and do that, and you'll learn in 2 or 3 years everything. Thank you for listening. You are the light of heaven, shining in the darkness, and the darkness, comprehending it not, will fade with your every footfall, with your every breath. The darkness must give way, must yield, because you are light. You are the light giver. You're God's saintly presence. Never forget that. Thank you for listening. Thank you.